What's going on, guys? It's Nick's Lotus. I got a budget bundle for you today. I got 10 cards I want to show you that are under $10. A lot of these have just freshly squoze orange juice on your bitch back, man. A lot of these just newly over the last like few days have dropped under 10 bucks. So just wanted to let you guys know. We're gonna start off with the guy that's literally a penny under $10. Regal Behemoth, 4 and 2 green for a 5/5 trample. When Regal Behemoth enters the battlefield, you become the monarch, and as long as you're the monarch, your lands tap for double. So it's a Vorinclex for marginally less money than Vorinclex. Maybe Vorinclex is worth. I haven't looked up Vorinclex. Maybe we'll prove me wrong right here. Yeah, no, you can get a Vorinclex for $5. So scrap the dinosaur, replace it with Vorinclex. Didn't expect that to be where this video went, but sure, Vorinclex for $5, sure. Up next, we got Karmic Justice out of Odyssey, but from Commander 2015 for $9. Karmic Justice is 2 and a white for an enchantment. Whenever a spell or an ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent you control, you may destroy target permanent that opponent controls. So all's fair in love and war type shit. $9 too. This is extremely powerful. It's kind of similar to the Martyr's Bond I shared on one of my previous videos. If you want to go watch that, it's a bunch of other powerful cards for I think under 10 bucks again. This one's very similar, a lot cheaper. And super strong. Love enchantments. Can't get enough of them. You Voltron players out there might like this one. Embercleave is sitting at, let's see here, $8.36. So not too bad for how strong this card is. 4 and 2 red for an equipment with flash that equips for 3. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 double strike and trample. This thing will definitely win you a game in a Voltron deck. If you don't already have one, it's pushing its lowest price that it's been at. Maybe consider picking one up. This thing is super, super tough. Toski Bearer of Secrets. This little squirrel fuck is sitting at $6.32, which is super good for how good this guy is. 3 and a green for a 1/1 squirrel. This spell can't be countered. Great start. Indestructible. Awesome follow through. Has to attack each combat if able. Not the best. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. You have an uncounterable reconnaissance mission that's indestructible in green. That seems fairly good. Up next is one of my favorites with Mirren, the Clan-Nell Toth, just such a weird name. She's coming in at $6.94, which is her lowest she's been at. And she's just an extraordinarily powerful card. 2 a black and a green for a 3/4. Whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. You do as a player, not the actual creature, so very strong. At the beginning of your end step, choose a creature card in your graveyard. If that creature's mana cost is equal to or less than the number of loyalty counters you have, you get to put it into play. But I never even read this part. If that creature's mana value is more than the amount of experience counters you have, it just goes back to your hand. So yeah, I read this thing as like, okay, so you have to farm out the counters, then you get to start reanimating stuff. No, the second she comes into play, you get to start ripping stuff back to your hand, which is crazy good. One repeatable Eternal Witness, please. Seems pretty good to me. Up next is an old school classic. Again, if you're in a Voltron list, this card's pretty solid. It's also just such a cool card. Umezawa's Jitte. You actually get to use Umezawa's weapon. How cool is that? Coming in at $6.24. This thing was pushing like $20, $30, $40 for a very long time. So it's very cool to see it sitting below 10. Umezawa's Jitte is 2 mana for an equipment that equips for 2. When equipped creature deals combat damage, put 2 charge counters on Umezawa's Jitte. So every time it does combat damage to anything, it doesn't even have to be a player, you get 2 counters on it. And that's good because you can remove a charge counter from Umezawa's Jitte, choose one. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, or target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or you gain 2 life. So you can remove both your charge counters to give your creature +4/+4 if you smack face. A 2-cost equipment that gives a creature +4/+4. That seems pretty good. And keep in mind, if you smack face, you just get 2 more counters, so you can do it again. If someone blocks you, though, you get 2 more counters because you did combat damage. It doesn't have to be to a player. Yeah, someone has to destroy this thing in Hellfire or throw it into Mount Doom, or it's going to do work. So it's banned in Modern for a reason. Extraordinarily powerful card. And then little cherry on top of all that, you can -1/-1 tokens that are on the field. Anything like that just happens to have a 1 power. Anything that you couldn't happen to kill with one of your other creatures. So you swing all out with all your creatures. One of your creatures got a Umezawa. One of your other creatures does, just 1 damage short of killing that creature that blocked. Oh, it's okay. My Umezawa creature is going to go ahead and give that creature a -1/-1. And then I'm going to give my Umezawa creature a +2/+2. Wow. And then on top of all that, the little sprinkle that they dusted on top of the cherry is you can gain 2 life. So if you're falling behind, you can gain 4 life every time your creature smacks something, which is not nothing. extremely good card. There's a From the Vault lore one that's going to be extremely shiny for $13, but we're looking at the $8. Oh, hold on. You can get this one for $8. So your choice. They're both under $10. You can get the list one for $6.24. You can get this sweet secret layer one for $8, which I think I'm going to get because this is awesome. Super good equipment. One of the best ever made. Pick one up. Fun card too. Again, a super good combat card. We got Marog, Fury of a Comb, for $6.24. I think the lowest this card's been at, if not slightly lower than this, but it's still under $10. Extremely powerful effect. 4 and 2 red for a 6/6. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it's attacked. So all your attacking creatures just statically get +1/+0. Already not too bad. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. Keep in mind there's kind of a weird layout of events to optimally use this thing. You want to use it on your post-combat main so that you can swing in and then untap, because if you use it on your main, your extra combat immediately after your main, and then you'll swing, and then your normal combat will happen, but you'll have a bunch of tapped creatures. So the way you can get 2 combats and untap is to play the land during your post-combat main. I hope that made sense. Super strong card. Extra combats are always good. Next is another classic that, again, is banned in Modern and Legacy. We've got Deathrite Shaman for $5.21. He was so close to being on the under $5 list, but he's on the under 10, which is still fine for a card that's like this strong. Deathrite Shaman is 1 hybrid Golgari for a 1/2. You can tap it, exile target land card from a graveyard, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Super relevant. You can pay a black, tap it, exile target instant or sorcery card out of a graveyard each opponent loses to, or you can pay a green and tap it, exile target creature card from a graveyard, you gain 2 life. So this thing shuts down Spellslinger decks that are messing with their graveyard, Reanimator decks. It's a 1-drop mana rock, which is extremely powerful in Commander. $5.21. Super good for that price. Definitely picking one of these up. Next, we got Nesting Dragon. This one's a little steep, but it is under $10 and it's really strong, and I haven't seen it in forever. 3 and 2 red for a 5/4 flying with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you get a 0/2, I think it's a dragon egg. Yep, red dragon egg creature token with Defender. And it has, when this creature dies, spit out a 2/2 red dragon that has flying and 1 red. This creature gets +1/+0. So every time you play a land, you get an egg. Every time an egg dies, you get a 2/2 dragon with fire breathing. That's a ton of creatures entering the battlefield. I think Perforos decks would love this thing, because you're getting a Perforos ping from Nesting Dragon coming into play. You're getting Perforos pings from all the eggs. You're getting Perforos pings from the eggs cracking. Not to mention the eggs swinging in because they have flying and fire breathing. I think this could be an easy win con in that deck, and a lot of other ones as well. Lands Matter deck, you just get a ton of dragons just swarming the board, which is never a bad thing in Magic. And then finally, we got the reason I made this video, because this is one of my top cards that I watch out for to make sure it's not dropping below 10, and it finally dropped below 10. We've got Wormcoil Engine. It finally did it. It's at $9.44, baby. You can go pick up Wormcoil Engine for a crisp 10, which is awesome. If you haven't seen this thing, where have you been? And also pick one up because it's so strong. It's one of my favorite cards of all time. 6 colorless for a 6/6 Death Touch lifelink. When Wormcoil Engine dies, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm with Death Touch and a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Worm with lifelink. It goes in any deck. It's a huge threat on board. It kills anything that touches it. It gains you life. It spits out 2 more things when it dies that do the same things as it did. You can recur it. It's one of my favorite recursion cards of all time. Like, it probably is. I'm just going to say it is. I'm going to say it is my favorite recursion target. My favorite thing to get back in Reanimator decks, hands down, is Wormcoil Engine. It's just such a good card. Again, kind of like the other one, it even goes in decks like Perforos because you're getting so many bodies hitting the floor with this thing and just value from it being in play. And it finally dropped below $10, bro. So that's so cool. I'm so excited about that. I'm going to go pick one of these up immediately. And I suggest you do the same because this card is extremely powerful. If you're into this kind of format of the video, let me know. I'm just trying out new stuff, seeing what sticks. If you want to show a little bit of additional support to the channel, you can always head over to Patreon at patreon.com/NixLotus. It starts as low as $1 to get shouted out at the end of videos, access to Discord where you can submit decks, talk to other people, look for people to play, and just kind of join the community. If that interests you, you can head over there. Highly suggest adding some of these to your decks. Much love, guys, and go play some Magic. Speaking of shoutouts, we've got our $1 Lotus Dippers, Tyler, Betsy, David, Xverfiend, Big Dog, Horny Badger, and Daniel Romero. Much love. We've got our $5 Lotus Enjoyer, Telescope Teddy, tell him how you feel. And we've got our two $25 Lotus Lovin' Son of a Guns, Mad Dad 316 and Nail Floppo. Much love, guys.